Welcome to the Codex Prime Podcast. We are on episode 130, and it is Tuesday, July 31st, 2018. I am your host, Victor Omoayo, and with me, as always, is my co-host and social media chair, Carl Byrd.
What's going on, y'all?
And we have a very special guest in the building. It's been a long time coming. My good, dear friend of mine from the college days and the super villain of the Codex Prime Podcast, John Haponic.
Greetings and salutations.
Yes.
Destiny has arrived.
Dread it. Run from it. So yes, welcome to the show, man. It's been a long time coming. The DC's #1 super fan, the DCEU's cheerleader, the hater of all things Marvel or Marvel Cinematic Universe. So yes, I'm very much looking forward to seeing what will come about in this episode tonight.
The apologist, as you have frequently called him.
Don't cry too much.
Yeah.
It'll be okay. I don't know if your camera will pick it up.
Oh, those are fighting words.
Oh, no. Hey, I'm fully prepared for whatever debate may arise, even though, as the two Marvel fans here, it's like a handicap match. So, so there's that. But yeah, we thank you all for tuning in on the Codex Prime Podcast. We're back at our Tuesday schedule, and we'll be talking about a bunch of like nerd stuff, latest headlines, stuff we've been up to, all things Marvel and DC, and all that good stuff. You know how we do. So So Carl, as you're sharing the episode, should I get into what I've been up to or whatever?
Actually, first, this episode is sponsored by Studio Headphones.
Yes. Yes, we got to give a big shout out to our sponsor.
Yes, Studio Headphones. As you can see, Victor's wearing our White Region, the White Region Premier on-ear models, which has impeccable clarity and instrumental tones for a well-balanced sound with 24 plus hours of active battery life and 20 days standby life. Mm-hmm. Very fashionable, also with high quality. Can you attest to that, Vic, right now?
Absolutely.
Exactly. And then if you go to studio.com, you can use the promo code Codex to get 15% off.
Yes, indeed. So
and I tried it, and it actually works.
Absolutely. So yeah, if you're in the market for headphones, pick yourselves up a pair of Studios. Yes, indeed. So John, since you've been a long-time viewer of the show and a dear friend of mine, tell us a bit about yourself and what you've been up to and all that good stuff.
Hey, just passing through back in Houston. Finally made my way up to Rhode Island. Just here for some work stuff. And I could not help but make this a pit stop. Sad to say, I've been doing secret supervillain stuff. I'm plotting my next email to Carl to tell him how bad Captain Marvel is going to be. Not Shazam. That's the real Captain Marvel. But unfortunately, outside of that, I finished reading Artemis. That was your recommendation, and my wife also read it. I was a little mixed on it. Mm-hmm. It was okay. I got a little frustrated with the ending, but you know me, I hate everything. And and right now I'm reading a pretty good book called So Sad to Fall. It's nonfiction, and it deals with the letters from Iwo Jima during World War II. And unfortunately, I've been kind of a little bit out of the movie theater experience. The last one, I forgot to email you guys, but I figured, hey, I was going to be on the show anyway. It was Ant-Man and the Wasp, which actually was all right. So yeah, that's about as exciting as I get. Doing a lot of housework. Sort of.
Yeah, housework sucks. And our boys Kyle and Brian had chimed in, and also Kyle from the UWO podcast, which y'all should check them out on the Anchor app. Yep. He goes, "Is that the Marvel hater? Boo this man!"
Yes, and Kyle, he's also our dear friend of the show, and also the most diabolical hater this side of the Mississippi. Yes, he is, and also a big Roman Reigns fan. Like, he's a overrated wrestler, but we don't talk about him too much. Yeah. So yeah, that's cool, man. As for me, I've been up to a few things. I just watched a movie Still use Movie Pass, so I'm still using it until I'm riding that wagon until the wheels fall off, which seems to be inevitable. I watched a movie at the Providence Place Mall called Blindspotting, and Blindspotting is a really dope film. It's directed by Carlos Lopez Estrada, and it stars Tony Award winner David Davis. He won for Hamilton, and Rafael Casal. And this movie is really dope. It takes place in Oakland, California, and David Davis plays this guy named Colin, who's fresh out of fresh out of prison, and he's basically has 3 days left of his parole before he enters probation, and he's just trying to keep his head above water, trying to stay out of trouble, and his friend Miles, played by Rafael Casal, he's this white dude who's really hood, like more hood than most other hood dudes. Like he's just like at first when you look at him, when you look at Miles, you think he's just a culture vulture, but he's actually like about it. Like he's down for the cause, and to a almost alarming degree. And he kind of reminds me of Joseph Sikora, I think that's his name. And he's this other actor who plays this guy named Tommy in the show Power, who's also a really thuggish and gutter white dude who you don't want to meet in a dark alley or any alley for that matter. But Colin, he's a dude who's trying to stay out of trouble, and he has 3 days left on his parole. And one day he witnesses a shooting. Well, this police officer was like guns murders this black guy who runs away from him, and he's just like in a funk, just trying to get over like what he saw, and he's trying to keep his head above water at his job. He's a mover. Him and his friend Miles they're both movers, and as he's trying to reconcile what he saw, and he's trying to deal with like all these things in his personal life, his friendship with Miles starts to become strained as the events go on. And what's really cool about Blindspotting is that it touches on a lot of themes, like for example, gentrification in Oakland, for example. Like there's a running gag about like hipsters taking over Oakland, and there's one scene in the film where Colin and Miles, they're at this hipster party by some dude who's like straight out of like Portland, Oregon, and he sports the same California tattoo as Miles. And so everyone's thinking. So Miles is like, look at him, like, hey, wait, why is he trying to rep Oakland? Like he's not from here. He doesn't know what the streets are. And then on top of that, some other black dude mistakes Miles for a culture vulture, even though Miles is also from the hood. And it's like it gets into like a big huge conflict. The writing is solid. It's more of a dramedy with comedic moments here and there, and it's very well written. And throughout the film, like you really feel for these characters. I really like the chemistry between David Davis and Rafael Casal, and how and what their friendship is like. You understand why they're friends, but at the same time, it's like you kind of ask yourself, well, would I really want to mess with these folks? But at the same time, it does tie into the film's title, Blindspotting. Basically, Blindspotting, how it's explained in the film, it's a psychological concept where if you look at somebody, even if somebody that you know very well, like you instantly look at that person, but like the first thing you think of, like whether it's a stereotype, you think of that person in that stereotype, even if it's just for a split second, then you start to see that person for who they are. So that's like the basic concept of Blindspotting. And that ties into the entire theme of the film. Like it's like I said, it's very well written and directed. This film actually took a while for David Davis and Casal to get off the ground. They tried to get off the ground for the last 10 years, but like stuff kept getting in the way. Like David Davis started in Hamilton, so that kind of got in the way of the production of the film. But then once he got off that, then this film got off the ground. This is also a film that continues that tradition of of black filmmakers and writers getting into more quirky and idiosyncratic genre pieces like Get Out and Sorry to Bother You. Blindspotting kind of continues that trend, and it's like I said, it's a really smart film. And I will say that there's like a key monologue in the film which might take some viewers out of it, because like it kind of toes that line between believability and realism.
Wait. Does this like monologue like break like the fourth wall, like where he's like talking to you directly, or what's the?
No, it doesn't break the fourth wall, but just like the circumstances surrounding it, it's like, oh man, I don't know if this would play in real life. Like it's kind of towing that line, but but the emotional truth is still there. But I won't spoil that, of course. But yeah, I really recommend it. The film also features brief cameo appearances by Tisha Campbell Martin and Wayne Knight.
Wait,
That's
who?
random.
Yeah, Wayne Knight is in it.
Okay.
From Jurassic Park?
Yeah, that dude. Yeah, like he plays some pretentious art dealer.
He was in something else recently, too. I can't even think of it, though.
Yeah.
Like, I know I seen him in something recently.
Yeah, he must have been in something recent, but yeah, I was like, it was weird seeing him in this movie, but I thought it was kind of hilarious. But yeah, check out Blindspotting.
Wait. Is it Oscar worthy? That's what we want to know. And is anyone dying in the film?
Of cancer.
Listen, man, I will say, like, in terms of writing, perhaps, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I would recommend checking out Blindspotting. It's for all of our local listeners in Rhode Island. It's only playing at the Providence Place Mall Theater, so definitely check it out while it's still there. Hopefully, it'll get an expansion for other theaters because it is worth checking out. And besides that, I've been on the movie tip. I bought 2 more films from the Criterion Collection sale at Barnes and Noble.
I knew you had to. I knew you had to. You had to get it in.
Oh yeah,
It's the last day. Oh, and he was in Narcos.
Narcos. Okay, cool. Yeah, 50% off. So I got 2 more films to add to my Criterion collection. One is this long-awaited film that I've always wanted. It's called A Matter of Life and Death, and it is by the team of Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger. It's a film that came out in 1946. Beautiful British film starring David Niven and Kim Hunter. David Niven, he plays a British Army pilot who dies and goes to the afterlife. And they're like, oh, wait, it's not your time yet. So, like, he goes back to life, and then he falls in love with the American radio operator who listened to him die in a plane crash, played by Kim Hunter. It's a really sweet film, very beautiful. I'm so glad this is finally on the collection. This is one Powell and Pressburger film that's been long overdue.
Did you Google this film? I've never heard of this. Is this like one of those like famous Oscar movies or something you like got in film school? I haven't heard of this one.
Yeah, it's a film that you probably would have heard in like film school, or I feel like you're deep into like old films.
Okay.
Yeah, then this is definitely one of them. I know our friend Mark, the artist, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely into Powell and Pressburger, so he would know this film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I got this, and the other film that I got from the Criterion Collection sale is Alexander Payne's 1999 film Election, starring Matthew Broderick and Reese Witherspoon. Wait, you don't like this film?
Why don't they make a Criterion out of that?
It's
awful.
No,
ahead, stop
listen,
debating.
it was Election was not awful. It was very good.
Nothing memorable about it. What's his name? Matthew Broderick. I mean, all I remember. You know what I remember about that movie? He gets stung by a bee.
Oh yeah.
That's about it.
Well,
Terrible.
Well, ignore John's simplistic review. There's way more to this film. It's basically a high school election, and it's a metaphor of real life politics. Reese Witherspoon plays the overachiever Tracy Flick, who becomes really vindictive when Matthew Broderick's character, this teacher, rigs the votes because like Tracy Flick is really unlikable, and Matthew Broderick's character doesn't like her at all. So he rigs the votes to make sure that the least qualified candidate wins the high school election.
Ooh. Okay, I see why you picked this.
Yeah, so unfortunately, she finds out, and then she becomes really vindictive. It's a funny film, and it's by Alexander Payne. He did Sideways, which is my favorite film of his, The Descendants, About Schmidt. He also did Downsizing, which I didn't really care much for. But yeah, 2 films I added to my collection.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Adrian, I will never, ever wear a Roman shirt.
Yeah, so it's a good rag. It's a good wash rag.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Also, real quick on the comics tip, I finished reading Volume 6 on the trade paperbacks of Batman, the DC Rebirth. Volume 6, Bride or Burglar. Basically, Batman and Catwoman are engaged, and in this volume, Wonder Woman calls Batman to fulfill this commitment that they made to this gentleman named the Gentleman, who's fighting an endless horde of demons in this dimension, which is he's defending this the wall between our world and this demonic dimension. And to give him a brief reprieve, they decide to exchange places. So Wonder Woman and Batman take the Gentleman's place, and the Gentleman comes to Gotham to revisit his long lost love. And what's interesting is that time moves very differently in both. So a few hours in the real world in Gotham is actually a few decades in this realm that Batman and Wonder Woman have to fight in, but they don't age. So it's very interesting to see like how Batman and Wonder Woman deal with that time differential, and if they fall into temptation. But because Batman and Catwoman are engaged, but very good.
So wait. If they're engaged, are they like engaged as Batman or as engaged as Bruce Wayne? Excuse me.
Engaged as Bruce Wayne and Selina
Okay.
Kyle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I actually, the single issue of when they actually get married is how, and I actually picked it up.
And also for two more comic series that I have read. Trying to pick them up. Two that I highly recommend for you guys to check out is Shadowman, which I've read the first. Well, there's only 5 issues available. This is published by Valiant Comics. This is the reboot of the Shadowman series, which has been around for like 20 years. This one's really dope. It's written by Andy Diggle and with artwork by Steven Segovia, and it's about takes place in New Orleans. It deals with like voodoo and the occult, and this guy Jack Boniface, who's the current Shadowman, and his lineage, his bloodline has been cursed with the Shadowman Loa or spirit, and he's the latest in a long line, and he's been trapped in the dead side which is like the demonic inverse of the real world. He's been trapped for 5 years. He comes back to the real world, and his lover, Alyssa Miles, who's also a voodoo priestess or a mambo, they reunite, and they have to defend the world against Baron Samedi, who's like this skull-faced, really depraved dude. I kind of imagine Walton Goggins playing him if they ever make a TV show or movie version of this. But definitely check out Shadowman. It's the first 5 issues are out now. And last but not least, I've read the newest Image comic series, Skyward. Really dope. Gorgeous artwork. Created by Joe Henderson. He was a showrunner for Lucifer.
Okay.
With artwork by Lee Garbett. And that is a really interesting sci-fi premise. It takes place roughly 20 years after our present day, and it basically the gravity, Earth's gravity basically disappears, and everything becomes low gravity. And like, if anything or anyone that's not tethered down gets automatically floats away into the atmosphere, into certain death in outer space. And there's actually a horrifying a page in the second issue where you see a ring around planet Earth, and it's just a ring of debris and people and corpses, because they.
Okay, this just took a huge dark turn.
Yeah, it got a little weird.
But yeah, it's despite its premise, it's actually not a dark. It does have dark elements, but it's actually a really really cool series. It has moments of lightness to it. The main character is a woman named Willa Fowler, who grew up in this low gravity Earth, and she doesn't remember a time where there was gravity on Earth. So it's a very interesting world building, seeing how she floats around, and how she navigates the world where there's no gravity. So basically, like anybody that's living like in the high rises or whatnot, they're actually poor or lower class, because they're closer to certain death basically if they float away.
Yeah.
Whereas those who are on the ground, they're actually rich, upper class, because one of the inventors actually created a magnetic boots, so everyone can actually stay on the ground and not float away.
Oh. Okay.
And it's really interesting world building, and there's like a huge conspiracy that her father is involved in, and it's kind of developing in these last 4 issues. Really awesome series. Like Image Comics always puts out some interesting stuff.
They do.
And more so than Marvel. So yeah, definitely check out Skyward. The first 4 issues are out now. I've been reading those, and Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to.
You know, you done started a whole debate in our chat.
Oh,
Everybody's debating today.
What debate have I started?
Okay, so as you were basically between Adrian and Kyle.
Uh-huh.
So as you were going over your Batman review,
Yeah.
first of all, Adrian got mad at you because you were kind of spoiling it for him. He was picking up that issue,
Oh, what issue?
the trade that you was reading of Batman.
It's not really a spoiler. Come on.
So of course, you know, Kyle chimes in saying how nobody likes Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian calls blasphemous on him, and then Kyle says nobody seems to care that Batman comes out at night in spandex with a little boy named Dick. And then of course they kind of go and it spreads into a football conversation. But yeah, they're pretty much going back and forth at it.
I see.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Is football still a thing?
Of course,
Fantasy's coming up. It's around the corner.
No.
it is.
Yeah. You still gonna watch football?
I'm still on the fence with that. I really am.
Do the right thing, Carl.
It's like if I told you my situation. It's like is like the year I don't watch it, then the Cowboys win the Super Bowl and I'm be mad because I missed it.
That's
Or, you know, even worse, you don't watch it. They make it to the Super Bowl. You watch it. They're done. You jinxed them.
Yeah.
Game
See,
over.
don't put that
Yeah.
even.
Huh? I'm just saying.
That's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah, do the right thing, Carl.
It's
Don't
like I'm
support
screwed
them.
either way. It's like I'm screwed either way.
That's all right. Do the right thing. Don't watch it.
But I love football.
Dude,
It's not a bad thing if you watch football.
it's toxic. It's a toxic
it's not.
relationship.
No, it's not.
It's a toxic relationship, Carl.
No, it's not.
All these owners telling people telling the players that they have to kneel, they have to show patriotism.
Okay, yeah, Jerry's
Really?
doing that. Yeah, but
Really?
the owner of the Giants he's actually against it.
So
They actually say that if they if his players do take a knee, that the Giants organization will pay their fines.
yeah, but if they get fined every time, then they're gonna change their tune real quick.
I don't think the fines are too bad, right? I mean, it's a couple grand. I mean,
You're a
a lot.
football fan, correct?
Casual.
Casual.
I'm more basketball,
Mm.
basketball, hockey, but I mean, I still follow the standings.
Yeah. Don't do the right thing. Don't watch it. It's not
I'll be
worth
all right.
it.
You're gonna watch it.
The
He ain't
Patriots
shit.
will be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they
odds
will.
I really will. I play fantasy too. So.
Yeah.
But anyways, I guess it's my turn to tell y'all what I've been up to.
Yeah.
I pretty much, other than moving, I've been comic reading.
Yep.
A lot of it.
So much.
I'm spending so much money on comics. It's ridiculous. But it's just growing and growing. I'm just like, wow. Wow. Like I'm picking up new comics, and there's still some I haven't read.
Wow. Yeah, that's how it is. That's how
It
with
is.
me.
Didn't you? One of us posted a meme.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, that's so accurate.
Yeah.
So I picked up the X-Men Wakanda Forever.
All right.
That was picks off when from Spider-Man's Wakanda Forever. So what happens? It's actually written by Nnedi Okorafor, art by Anthony Height, and basically Nakia, aka Malice, Lupita Nyong'o's character in the movie. She was actually on the loose with a dangerous threat weapon from Wakanda as she is exiled from the Dora Milaje, and she comes to America as a try to lure Black Panther because she's like so crazy, like obsessed with him, to the point where it's turned her mad, and then she actually becomes sick. She becomes like sick from this disease. So the name I can't remember it. So she goes into Brooklyn. So she goes to Brooklyn with this dangerous weapon, and then the Dora Milaje actually, they actually come to America to try and stop her, and then they team up with Spider-Man in the first issues. So then next with the X-Men one, she's like, all right, I got to get T'Challa. Who am I gonna get? His one true love, Storm. So she tries to track down the X-Men. So then the Dora Milaje try to warn Storm of, Nakia's coming. So that's what I'm gonna leave it as, because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But it's definitely a very good read. I recommend it to anybody. Also, the new Amazing Spider-Man series, issues 1 and 2, just came out, written by Nick Spencer and art by Ryan Ottley. And it's a new story with Peter Parker, and like he's facing plagiarism charges from the college that he went to because Dr. Octopus from issues ago basically posed as him and completed his college education, and Peter kind of just ran with it. But then there was this device that the college actually invented where they can scan people's work. And
I think that's called Google.
nowadays, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And,
I could use that.
yeah, and they, scan for plagiarism, and they found out on Peter Parker. So Peter has to go back to college, and the Lizard is actually his professor. But it's just that Kurt Connors actually has a chip, and he can actually control, himself from becoming a lizard and being evil and everything. Whenever like he gets some type of trigger, it'll like the chip would actually shock him to a paralyzed state, and he turns back to normal. So with these plagiarism charges coming about, like his life is pretty much falling into shambles. And also an alien invasion is happening.
Wow.
So I mean, it's a nice fun read. I definitely do recommend it. And also, I over the weekend I started watching season 6 of Orange Is the New Black.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot about that show.
How can you forget? Like Orange Is the New Black is amazing.
It is.
Probably
but-
had like 3 episodes about it.
Yeah, I've been catching up with so many other stuff though.
Yeah, so it picks up at right after the events of season 5, where the inmates were split up after the riots. So they're moved to Litchfield's maximum security.
Oh.
Yeah, so like a whole bunch of things. I'm only on the first 2 episodes. I've only watched the first 2 episodes, so a whole bunch has been going down. I don't really want to, like, if I say anything else, it's gonna end up being spoilers. But you do see your favorites, Piper, my personal favorite, Daya and Gloria, Suzanne, Crazy Eyes, Tasty, Cindy. They're all back. So, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing what they're going to be getting into, especially in maximum security.
Yeah. Is Red still there?
Oh yeah,
Nice.
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And John, have you watched Orange Is the New Black?
I am guilty. I have not watched a single episode.
Oh.
I don't know. It's one of those things where it's just like people recommend stuff to me. I just put it on the queue list, and I don't know. I've been going through things. I'm currently trying to finish Homeland.
How is Homeland?
It's actually pretty good. I mean, they take it to a little extreme at times, you know what I mean? But I mean, they try to keep it like in some sort of realism. Actually, the one thing I think I would recommend to you, which I have not yet, or at least I don't recall, is The Expanse. Okay. It's based on a series. I think. Like 7 novels. You have to Wikipedia that for me. I mean, at least 7 have been released, I think.
Yeah.
And but anyway, they have about 3 seasons on. 2 of them are on Amazon Prime so far. And after it got canceled, Amazon picked it up after a lot of people were, trying to bring it back. So I really, really recommend that one. That show is awesome.
3 seasons.
Yeah, 3 seasons, and they're gonna have their 4th on Amazon. But
Thomas Jane's in it.
Yeah, I mean the cast was really good, and it's pretty diverse, and I mean, like, the first 2 episodes or so, it's a little weird. Like, it kind of leaves you in the dark, but as it goes along, if you pay attention, 10 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And shout outs to Mike Marchetti joining us. Happy birthday to Callie. And shout outs to my homegirl Erin watching.
Nice.
I told her about the debate, so she's ready.
Yeah. And yes, Kyle, Orange Is the New Black is back, apparently. I haven't watched it yet. Yeah.
Shame on you.
Yeah. That's what's up.
But shame on me, because I finished Luke Cage in a weekend, and I'm only 2 episodes in for Orange Is the New Black.
Yeah. You've seen Luke Cage, right?
Only first season. I'm so far behind on some stuff. I'm just waiting for Iron Fist, to come back so I can renew my Netflix subscription. I can't wait.
Oh God.
That was a train wreck.
Like I said, yeah, but there's a whole new there's personnel changes, so it's worth a second chance.
Like you've seen the whole first season of Iron
Oh,
Fist.
I watched it all.
Me
Like
too.
I binge watched that one, and I mean it was a comedy for me and my wife. We were just laughing the entire time.
Yeah, I 3 episodes and I had to tap out. I could not finish that series at all.
I literally, as I was telling you, I have pretty much watched every Marvel show except actually I never watched Agent Carter, but all the Netflix series I watched it. I watched only the first 2 episodes of Inhumans, and I'm glad that I'm like that's enough I got. First of all, the show wasn't good. Second of all, it came out on Friday nights. Who's watching TV on Friday nights?
Yeah, that's true. Nope. Antisocial people and insomniacs.
Good answer.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a huge field, but Cloak and Dagger is actually good. I think there's like 2 episodes left.
Okay. That's on Freeform, right?
Freeform, yeah.
Okay.
But you can watch it on Hulu as well. That's how I usually catch it.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much. I'm working on season 5. I started watching season 5 of the latest season of Agents of Shield. It's not about, and I heard that there's a really good tie-in into Infinity Wars too. So I'm like, I gotta see that through.
Okay. Yeah. And speaking of Marvel shows, I don't know if you've watched it yet, but have you seen The Punisher?
Only pieces of it.
I'm not sure.
I don't like it. I don't like the actor.
Oh, John Bernthal.
Yeah, I like what's his face? The guy from Warzone.
Oh, Ray Stevenson.
Yeah, he was the definitive Punisher for me. He was tall. He didn't say or do much. He did just enough for me.
Yeah, he nailed the look, but that movie.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what the Punisher is. You know?
Well,
Yeah.
The only beef I have with John Bernthal is just that he's short. Other than that, he nails it.
it's not really short. He's like 6 feet tall. I mean, he's basically our height. So, you know.
Yeah, but Punisher is always portrayed as a much taller character.
Yeah, he's like what?
He's
what
got to
would
be
you say,
about
6'4"?
6'4",
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah. Oh well. Tomato. It's one of those nitpicky.
It is.
things.
It is
Yeah.
because the show's still dope.
Oh yeah, it is.
Like I probably would put it as like top 3 Netflix, like of the Netflix series,
yeah.
like top 3 seasons.
And what's top 2 then?
I have to say Luke Cage season 1
Yeah.
and Jessica Jones season 1.
All right. Over Daredevil?
You know what? I gotta say,
Daredevil is a close. It's in the top 5.
Jessica
Daredevil
Jones
was very good,
whoa.
but
Jessica Jones,
Kilgrave was scary as fuck.
Jessica Jones was a great show.
It definitely was.
Like,
I almost fell asleep.
why? Like,
I can't. For a villain, I mean,
Kilgrave,
yeah.
dude, that
It's so
mind
lame.
control was sick.
No, anytime it's just like, looking at the coffee, throws it in his face. It's like, that's it. Okay.
I mean, that's just mild
Done.
of what he can do. He's like, remember when he won the money in the poker game, and he's just like, okay, you just bang your head into the wall until
until you die, yeah.
and he did it. Like it was to the point where they had to have they had to form a rehab group
I don't know
for
that.
people who have been Kilgrave.
Yeah.
Like even like Jessica said, it was like, yo, you raped me using mind control, and I'm like, that's a form of rape. That hits pretty hard.
Yeah. I mean, the show was quite strong, and like I would say like Jessica Jones season 1 was my favorite season of all the Netflix shows. It's my second favorite now because Luke Cage season 2 is my new favorite. Yeah.
I mean, like, and I don't want to sound like anti Jessica Jones. I actually love the comic. I bought the comic when it first came out with the Marvel Knights line
Yeah.
years ago. So I mean, I have the 1 through 30. I can't remember if they canceled it or something
There's
or
a
what
new
happened.
line too.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
new line
they
that
brought
just
it
came
back.
out. Yeah, it just came out like 2 weeks ago on the Marvel app.
And
I keep saying to myself, I gotta get it.
Yeah.
And I think by the end of the series, that was part of the season. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I don't know. It didn't do it for me. I'd have to say probably Daredevil season 1, Luke Cage season 1. I still haven't gotten to 2 yet.
Yeah.
The rest, I don't know.
Bushmaster's the truth.
Yeah, Bushmaster was a great villain, and especially Alfred Woodard's Mariah Dillard, Stokes.
You say it right.
Stokes. Yo, oh my God! Like Alfred Woodard deserves an award for her portrayal as Mariah Dillard / Stokes because man, I never hated a Marvel villain as much as I hated her character. Jesus. But yeah, Luke Cage season 2 is worth watching, and Defenders, it was alright.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Defenders was
Yeah,
Not that memorable then.
it wasn't. Oh, I mean, Iron Fist.
somewhat, if you follow the story, it just wasn't their best work. It's what it should have been a lot better.
Yeah.
That I'll definitely admit, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, Iron Fist's whole purpose in that show was literally punching a wall.
Yeah, yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
But then that was actually rushed, and that was a shot to you. See, it's different now because I'm always shouting you out whenever we throw some shade to DC. But you're right here now.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, I
This
mean,
was a long time coming. I could wait for this.
it was, and we'll get more into it.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
After we touch on these news and headlines here, some news and items of interest. First one here. This one is kind of a stab to my heart right here. MoviePass may very well be on its way out.
I'm so pissed.
Yeah. Last Thursday, July 26th, MoviePass had to take out a $5 million emergency loan because the company actually ran out of money. MoviePass users, myself included, were unable to use the app during that time. As users opened the MoviePass app, users saw an error message which read in part, quote, "We are presently experiencing some technical issues with our card-based check-in process, and we are diligently working to resolve the issue," end quote.
AKA, we're broke, bitch.
Yeah, pretty much. Observers have long criticized MoviePass's business model of charging $10 a month to see as many films in theaters as one wants to, stating that it is unsustainable. Which is hard to argue, but...
Hey, at least you enjoyed the ride, right? I mean...
Yeah.
So wait, did you try to see one on Thursday? Were you locked out?
I was locked out, like I said.
Oh,
yeah,
that's gotta hurt.
I had that same
What were you
error
trying
message.
to see?
I was trying to see this documentary, Three Identical Strangers, which is still in theaters. And apparently I can't see Mission Impossible because it's a premium release.
Yeah.
So
Why not? Is it
it's not a Disney movie, but it's a premium release. I guess Paramount, made a deal with either the theater chains or MoviePass itself, saying that MoviePass users can't watch this movie for the first 2 weeks with the app.
And now I think they updated it. I mean, you may want to Google it, but I think it's like films that have over 1,000 theaters.
Mm-hmm.
You have to wait a little longer to see them. I think that's what I read today. And also their, I guess the lack of viability in their, or lack of sustainability is that they need at least an additional 2 million subscribers for it to be profitable. And I don't know. They're at 3 million right now. They need 5.
Yeah, it's
a trick.
There's still hope. Just when I'm ready to say, I'm gonna get MoviePass.
yeah.
Just when I was finally saying, I was finally convinced to get it. This happens.
Yeah.
Ain't that a bitch?
I know, and you know what? I will say, like, if the end is nigh, like I said, like it was great while it lasted.
I would say you definitely got your money's worth because you only had it for it wasn't even a year yet.
No, I had it since December 1st.
Oh, so it's
Yeah, and
8 months.
How many movies do you think you saw with that?
I saw 36. Yeah.
Yeah, you used the hell out of that.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I will ride the MoviePass wagon until the wheels fall off.
Do it.
Yeah, just
Do
go
it,
to
why
town.
Yeah, and then I go back to paying for my movie ticket like the rest of the common folk,
You ain't shit.
like the rest of the taxpayers, the bill payers, Yeah, but anyway.
You see these lights? You paying these motherfuckers too, so I want to hear.
Yeah, like the rest of you little people. But anyway, some other movie news. I'm gonna start a hashtag keep MoviePass alive. And mind you, this is not a paid sponsorship. I'm just a fan. Anyway, some other news
Did you
here.
call him out for being a...
He should be sponsored by them.
Yeah,
I mean,
I swear to God, he has plugged it in every
he probably has a tattoo somewhere on his arm or something.
I would pay top dollar to watch Victor get a tattoo.
No.
Wait, anything in particular or
No, just
in
get
general?
one. Anywhere.
Nah.
Well, not almost anywhere.
No, I'm good with
Just
the
get
tattoos.
Come on, you wouldn't get anything. Like if you had to, what would you get?
You know, that's the thing. Like, there's so many cool stuff. Like, I'm too indecisive. I wouldn't know what to get.
Sure the hell, I was definitely indecisive. So, shout out to my boy Jim who gave me my first tattoo. It's nothing special, but he was just like, "I'll give you a free one just so I can see you squirm." And I was it was crazy, because I have a horrible phobia of needles. I can't even look at like American Gangster is one of my favorite movies, and I cannot watch the heroin scenes.
Oh yeah.
Well, you share a fear with Jackie Chan.
Really?
Yeah, he's broken like every single bone in his body. Doesn't care about stunts, but in his biography or autobiography and some of his interviews, he's just straight up like, you put a needle at me, I get,
Like I stiffen out, and I just want to like punch somebody if they try to get like I'm the worst. But
Man.
yeah, I literally watched him do it and just like held his girlfriend's hand like really tight and all that, and like I watched it, then went to go see Dark Knight Rises after that.
That's cool.
Nice. Yeah. Also, we got another headline here.
Go ahead.
Warner Brothers sells Andy Serkis's Mowgli film to Netflix.
Ouch.
The film was originally scheduled for a theatrical release on October 19th of this year, but due to concerns of the proximity of Andy Serkis's film's release with that of Disney's live-action Jungle Book from 2 years ago, Warner Brothers sold its own film to Netflix. Netflix will distribute Mowgli worldwide sometime in 2019 with an additional theatrical release so that the film's 3D effects will be put to good use so they can get their money's worth. Andy Serkis's Mowgli is a darker PG-13 retelling of Rudyard Kipling's classic story, and it will star Rohan Chand in the title role, along with Cate Blanchett, Christian Bale, Naomi Harris, Matthew Rhys, and Benedict Cumberbatch as Shere Khan.
I was getting ready to say, I'm like, I bet any money he's playing Shere Khan.
Yes, he is. Yeah, I mean,
I did remember hearing about like a second Jungle Book, but then just like Disney's version just came and kind of like kicked ass for a little while.
oh yeah, yeah.
So it's like, maybe we should get off this. Let's just hold off on it for a while.
Yeah,
And
because
then this what happens.
Jungle Book is a public domain.
That's what I
property.
thought. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Because that was written probably the 1800s. Say
I think like late 1800s or early 1900s.
had to be
Yeah.
before the copyright. Yeah, it's anything before copyright laws.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact year.
Yeah, I don't know either. But yeah, like I saw the trailer for Mowgli, and it looks interesting, fairly interesting. A darker retelling is something that kind of piques my interest. I mean, I don't know how many times you can retell the Jungle Book, but I think
I don't know why it has to be darker. I'm fine with the happy stuff. I mean, it's a kid's story.
yeah.
January 1st, 1923.
Okay.
Anything? I think anything before that.
No, because I think certain things qualify for public domain. Like, I mean, again, you might have to Google for me, but
No, yeah,
I
I'm
think
looking
Night
it
of the Living Dead, for example, I think that's public domain.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm not sure how that exactly functions, but
I'm just going off the first paragraph I saw on Wikipedia. But yes.
Like for certain like Hollywood releases, like back in the day, like for some reason if the studio forgot to file the copyright, then it
okay.
goes right to public domain.
okay.
That's
Yeah,
probably
you'd know that.
Yeah. But yeah, Mowgli film to Netflix. Hey, I'll catch it once it arrives, and who knows, it might be worth watching. I mean, I like Andy Serkis. He's trying his hand as a director. He's a talented actor.
Yeah, he is.
It's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's
Definitely good at Black Panther.
Gollum.
yep.
Oh,
Gollum.
and Gollum too. Yeah. I actually like he was on some talk show. I want to say like Jimmy Fallon or something. He just out of nowhere just did the voices. I'm just like, yo, that is amazing.
Oh yeah, he read Trump's tweets in Gollum's voice. I think it was on Conan's or Jimmy Kimmel's show. But yeah.
I gotta see that video now.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. Also, some reboot news. Charlie's Angels, the reboot, is officially underway. And this film will star Kristen Stewart, Naomi Harris, and Ella Balinska in the roles. As Sony is rebooting this film. And Elizabeth Banks is directing it. And she will also play Bosley, the unseen boss of the Charlie's Angels as well. The film is scheduled for its September 27, 2019 release.
Here's another one.
Yeah,
That's all you got to say with reboots nowadays. It's another one.
that's right, man. Another one.
Oh,
Well, it's
yeah,
also
or
kind of
just-
interesting they made Bosley a woman.
Indeed. Yeah, I think in the last films, I think Bill Murray was the unseen voice. Was
No,
Bosley?
no. Wait, was he? I thought he was just like some lackey.
Oh, maybe.
I remember, no, Bernie Mac was the.
Bernie Mac was Bosley.
What?
I don't know, because like the previous films that was Cameron Diaz and Lucy Liu, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
there was a third actress I forget.
Wait, Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu. Oh, what's her face? What's her face from Whip It? She
Oh,
directed it.
Drew Barrymore.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
I should have known that. I just
Okay.
watched that too.
So yeah, for all you Charlie's Angels fans out there, well, I guess there you have something to look forward to. Also, some other news here. Lena Waithe is bringing a new anthology horror series to Amazon. The series is called Them Covenant, and it follows a black family in 1953 that moves from North Carolina to an all-white Los Angeles neighborhood where both real and supernatural forces set out to destroy them. Lena Waithe is the Emmy Award-winning screenwriter, producer of Netflix's Master of None, starring Aziz Ansari, and she will be the series showrunner. Amazon has given Them Covenant a 2-season order.
Shout outs to her. Lena Waithe's been doing it.
Yeah. I think she was also in Ready Player One.
Yeah, she was. She played H.
Yep. Yeah. She's creative
In an
talent
episode
right
of
there.
This Is Us.
Like, do you watch This Is Us? Anybody?
I saw a few episodes.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I watch it.
Yeah. I know you do. Do you cry?
No.
Because you have no heart.
Why is it gotta be just? It's a movie. It's just a movie. I ain't gonna get all
It's a show.
emotions.
Called
A show,
emotion,
excuse me.
Carl. Emotion.
Yeah.
I have emotion.
No,
I'm
you,
just.
you really don't.
Yeah, I do.
No. There's.
Just because I don't cry in movies like or TV shows.
Listen.
Like I get caught up in the moment and I enjoy it,
Like
but
there,
I'm not gonna cry.
But so there's never been a work of art, no TV show, no movie, no book, nothing that's actually moved you to tears. Not even just like not even just a tinkle in your eye. Nothing.
I felt it at the end of The Color Purple. And
Okay.
I was like, wow, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that was deep.
Oh yeah, Color Purple, the movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just kind of moved on from there.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, just something.
I mean, I didn't cry.
I didn't cry either, but still, I felt it.
Dude,
You know?
cried in Finding Dory's.
Listen, man, Lil, Pixar knows how to do it, man. Just when you think Pixar just
He
knows
also
how to.
cried at Coco too.
Yes.
Another one.
Yes. Yo, have you seen Coco?
It was okay.
This guy right here. Listen, yo, Ike. Listen, when that scene where she's singing "Remember Me"
Big tears.
with his grandmother, it's just
Listen, I'm very close with my grandmother.
it's just
I have another one who's passed on, and I'm like, something like that still wouldn't even like, that didn't make me fall, that didn't bring me to tears.
I'm sorry. It's just when you see a beautiful moment like that,
I'm like,
and
that's some good acting right there.
the movie just
And
built
keep it
up to
moving.
that. Man, Pixar knows how to turn on the waterworks. They
No, they know how to turn on your waterworks.
No, Pixar is so adept at emotional intelligence, at just riding that line between schmaltz and genuine emotion, and mwah, it's art right there, man.
Okay, it's good art, but it don't drive me to freaking tears.
But you sit there and it's like, oh, it's just the cartoon, it's just the animation.
Probably did. I did. Like I said, told you before, it pissed you off. I never liked Finding Nemo.
Because
Like every time I watch it, I fall asleep.
yeah,
Did you see Wally?
you have no taste.
Well, yeah, I haven't seen.
Oh, you should check that one out.
Yes.
I think that's the best.
Okay, I won't argue with that. I mean,
There's minimal amount of dialogue, and you get all this interaction, so it's like watching to some degree, like a silent movie.
yeah.
You know what it is too? Is
Yes,
every
I
time
know.
I look at Wally, I think of Johnny Five.
Yeah, see that.
I mean, yeah, similarities, but
Yeah.
it's much more than a short. It's not short circuit. It's not in the
Okay.
same league. Anyway, speaking of cool stuff, shows, Stranger Things season 3 is coming out next summer.
Pissed.
This is reported from Consequence of Sound. Stranger Things' third season began filming in April. It will take place roughly 1 year after the second season, with events circling around the release of Back to the Future in the summer of 1985. And to coincide with the new season's release, Penguin Random House will publish a prequel novel telling the story of Eleven's mom.
That would be interesting. Now that part would be interesting, but I actually thought that they was gonna do like a huge time jump just because the kids were actually getting older.
Yeah, that's what they did say. I think that would be a time jump. I guess
It was like only 1 year. The last season only took place in 1984.
yeah, well, probably growth spurt or something. They'll probably explain it.
Yeah, happened to me when I turned 13.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? I mean, I predict more 80s references, but Stranger Things knows how to utilize them very well.
Yeah, they do. Like I probably would say like one of my favorite recent trailers was the season 2 trailer to Stranger Things.
Yeah, that was really
Like
very
the
good.
way they incorporated Thriller, and I thought the season 3 one was the little teaser was creative.
Yeah.
You know, and you got the old logos of like all those stores that exist in the 80s and. And then it was like, wait, what was the Toy Story? Not Toy Story. There's Toy Story that they had. Child World.
Yeah.
Like, and just, it always amazes me how they get all that. And the show gets so into detail of, like, bringing it back to the 80s. Like, I've mentioned on the show before, it's like, oh, my God. Like, they were emptying out the garbage. I'm like, wow, that's 80s garbage.
Yeah, the garbage cans.
The cans and everything. I'm like, yo, how are they getting that? I mean, I'm sure you can probably just print out old logos and just slap them on like regular cans, but
Oh yeah, the fine attention to detail.
I'm afraid though it's gonna so season 1 I thought was perfect, but
Yeah.
season 2 they just start forcing some of those.
the show's only going to be 4 seasons.
Yeah, but I'm just saying season 2. I mean, all they did was just keep dropping those 80 references. It's like, oh hey, here's a song. Whoa, 80s.
Yeah.
Next scene.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Like they're getting a little too cute with the references. Yeah, but at least it's not to like a narrative breaking degree. Yeah.
Not everything can be Iron Fist.
Yeah. Oh, AKA Kung Fu Hipster Man. Yeah, that should
good.
That should be the name of the show. No, it's not good. By good you mean awful. And also last headline here. Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher will return for Star Wars Episode 9. Hamill will reprise his role as Luke Skywalker, and Carrie Fisher will return via unused footage from The Last Jedi.
Did you cry when you saw Mark Hamill's Twitter post
No.
when he's kissing Carrie Fisher on the head?
No, but I cried during that scene in The Last Jedi when they reunite.
The first time or the second time you watched it?
First time.
You douche.
Listen, man, it was like when Luke tells Leia that nobody's ever really gone, and he gives her Han Solo's dice. I cried, man, because it was like it wasn't just Luke telling Leia that no one's ever really gone in reference to Han Solo.
You thought of Mark Hamill.
You thought of Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, but
because
it's like
I was like,
you didn't cry when we all saw it with you.
because I saw it earlier that day.
You should have got the first experience with
No,
everybody else.
no. Listen. When it comes
you
to
agree?
You feel that energy?
Yeah.
No,
with all your people and share that energy with your people.
whatever. Listen, when it comes to Star Wars, well, the mainline Star Wars films, the spin-off films you can keep, but when it comes to the main Star Wars films, I'm not on anybody's schedule. I don't care who you are. I will see it by myself for the first time, and then the second time, because I'm going to see it more than once. Second time, I go with anybody I want. It doesn't matter. It's cool.
I don't know. I mean, it comes with like some like type of like event movie. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I talk to my wife all the time and just saying, we should go see this movie. We should go see this movie. I was like that. I was that guy like pushing like maybe we should go see Rampage. It has The Rock.
Did you?
I did not. But I
I'll
mean,
take anybody.
it's one of the. I know.
I went to
love The
DVD
Rock.
quick.
Yes, it did, and I watched it, and it was terrible. But even for The Rock standards. But oh man, he can get shot now.
Yeah.
Not to
With a
spoil
bullet
too much.
or
Yeah.
with a quote unquote real bullet, or is it
I'm pretty sure it was real.
quote unquote rubber bullet?
I bet it was real. But yeah, that was an interesting flick. But I mean, anyway, going back to the point though, I mean, it's like some of these Marvel movies that come out or DC or any action flick, and it's like if I miss it by a week or two, suddenly like my interest in going, because I feel like I missed out on something.
Yeah.
I feel less inclined to go see it, and I'll just wait for rental.
I'm the same way too. Like I have to see things like that premiere week and all that, because and then not to mention we live in the age of the internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's spoilers gonna hit. Like it was bad enough. Like I saw episode 7. Like let me see, it came out like on a Wednesday night.
Thursday night.
Thursday night. I didn't watch it till Saturday night. So it was pretty hot. Something like that big, like I had to see it early on because I did not want to get caught up in the spoilers. I wanted to see Solo, but then I'm like, all right, let me hold on. I think I was like broke that week or something. But like after like that first week, I just haven't had the urge to watch it.
It was okay.
I know.
No, you've seen it?
Yeah, I saw it. It's frustrating. I got really mad at the ending. I won't. That's something I won't spoil, but I mean,
Yeah.
It's like we said, it was a movie that we didn't need.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you say that? A movie that really wasn't needed? Solo?
So for like, it's weird because it's like Rogue One. I felt like told a larger story, whereas this, was just mainly on Han, and I like some of the buddy elements, and but it was not needed in the end. It was unnecessary. They had some cheap thrills. Some of the cast was pretty cool, but
Donald Glover. That's all I've really been hearing about.
Yeah.
Oh no! Wait. What's her face is also Woody Harrelson was pretty good, and
Harrelson's amazing.
help me out. What's her face? The name from
Emilia Clarke.
Westworld.
Oh, Tandy Newton?
Yeah. She was pretty cool,
Yeah. Oh, I still
but
got to
underused.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I still got to see season 2 of Westworld.
It's weird. Like I swear by season 1, but season 2, and these are different people, different opinions. I felt like the first half was like, like Oscar worthy, like Victor, like I should frame every sequence or something like that, hang the DVD on my wall. But second half,
Yeah, it gets too weird.
it's not so much weird. I think it's like kind of the direction that they're taking the series in, and without like ruining it, it's not necessarily what I expected, and it does. And it kind of follows a similar format with the first one, with flashbacks and going back and forth with time, and that can be a little maddening. And they do throw in some new characters here and there who weren't in the first season, and they just add them in there. I feel like to some degree it's filler.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out.
Keep saying I'm watch Westworld too. And something else comes out and takes my attention.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the first season is brilliant.
Yeah, I've heard. Like I've heard somebody actually say like Westworld is so good it's like God himself wrote it.
I don't know about that, but
I
that's
mean
a little too
of course it's an
hyperbolic.
over exaggeration,
Yeah,
but it's like
yes.
it's just speaking that high.
Yeah, it's man, like, wow. I love that. The first season, like
That was
I would-
Blade Runner.
Yeah,
It was Blade Runner.
yeah, like Blade Runner 2049 levels of quality. Oh, mwah.
Wasn't that your number one movie of last year?
Yes, Blade Runner 2049. I love that movie so much.
Did you see it, Carl?
I still haven't.
Well, you should see the first one, then see 2049.
Yeah, that's why I got it.
Yeah, I mean, because like 24,
Yeah.
because like if only because the first one will provide more context. Like certain narrative elements will make more sense in 2049 if you saw
okay.
the first. But like, yeah.
Is that it for the news and headlines and
Yep.
stuff?
Latest news.
One more quick. We gotta pay this bill real quick.
Yes.
Yes, big shout outs to our sponsor, Studio Headphones. As you can see, Victor wearing the white Regents, the premium on-ear model. How they sounding, Vic?
Like butter in my ears.
Jesus Christ, you go into way too much detail, but I guess that explains it. Highly fashionable with their Scandinavian design with their high polished metal and stuff. Great, you're cracking me up at this thing. High quality sound with 24 hours plus active battery life and 20 days with 20 days standby life. And also, if you go to studio.com and enter the promo code Codex, you will get 15% off. And also, what I failed to mention last week, all shipments to the U.S. are free. Free shipping to the U.S.
Word. Can't go wrong.
Yeah. So get on them.
Yes.
Studio
sir.
headphones.
Yes. Get them.
All right.
It's beautiful.
Now,
Yeah.
the reason why John's here.
Well, among other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is high on my list of things to do.
Yeah. So
Destiny has arrived
At long last.
at long last.
after 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
2.5. 3.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, about a little over 3 years. Yeah, after a little over 3 years. You know, John, you've always been a DC, the lone DC EU apologist / fan, or at least I call you an apologist. You seem to downplay the quality of Marvel Cinematic Universe films. My question is, why do you hate Marvel so much? Why? What did they do to you?
It is a hollow experience.
Okay.
That sums it up best. If I was, like I was talking with Carl earlier, like some of it I think is definitely being spoiled with this, but the problem is, it's quality and quantity. That's the issue at hand for me because, seeing like some of these movies, I think when I'd be like 15 years old, several years ago, I'd just be like doing cartwheels. And now, it's just for this, it feels like an ongoing soap opera for me. There is no end in sight, and every single movie is basically a commercial for the next movie. Essentially, they are moving a little way with Black Panther. So it's nice to see that was self-contained. But I don't mind like other characters popping in and out, but every single experience just says, come see our next movie to find out what happens next. That's essentially it for me. And they have this whole like, look at this emotional experience. He's sad. I don't get anything out of it. It just seems forced, as do many of the action things, which I will go through film by film, and I will be super brief if you want. I will gladly do that with you guys. We can start with Marvel. I will tear them apart. You can try it, to keep up, and then we can have some fun with some of the, let's just say, lesser DC films, and then work our way into the DCU.
Okay.
Bring the heat.
Yeah.
Bring it.
All right.
So,
see what you got.
all right, man. We got Iron Man, our first film into the Marvel, MCU.
2008.
And I'll give props to Robert Downey Jr. His performance carried the movie, but essentially, in the briefest I can say, I mean, basically, we're given a villain who, and all right, first off, almost every single Marvel villain has been a letdown for me, and I feel like one of the villains, in carrying a film, is that element where you really want to root for the protagonist to overcome, and it also keeps your interest. They have to have some sort of decent reason. Whereas this, we're rewarded with like a brief, boring, what I think is a plane sequence where he's flying against some jets, and then we get a forced transition with a villain, with a rich guy with a pot belly, and even the Iron, what is it, Ironmonger? I think even his suit, has that little extra tummy. And when it comes down to it, we're left with a anticlimactic conclusion. We're facing some sort of electrical threat. You have to push that button; it might kill me. Oh no, it won't. So that's pretty much the movie for me. And then we are introduced to what I feel is the horrendous, one of the worst things I think in movies. And you have to agree with me, Victor, that it hurts. Any film with end credits. I think is the biggest waste of things. I look back, to Ferris Bueller, and those end credits made sense. It didn't allude to another sequel. It had served no purpose. He just said, "Why are you here? Go home." And but then another movie that I liked fair amount, and I'll stop so you guys can join in, but was Liam Neeson in The Gray. And some people don't know that there's end credits to that, and you're given this amazing sequence, where it's just him running at the wolf, and it goes black, and that's the end of the film, and that's awesome. But if you stay for the film, in the end of the credits, you see him just, I guess I'm assuming, dying, and he's laying against a wolf. And what does that do for the film, and why do I care? So Iron Man, in your park.
Okay. I will say that the main villain of Iron Man, I thought with Obadiah Stane. I thought that he was fairly interesting. I thought more could have been done. I agree, but I thought that at the same time, you got just enough from him. Like it served the film's purpose. Like it served the flow of the narrative. Like
Yeah,
rather
because there
well
was
enough.
a bigger plan, as you end up seeing with the end credits with Samuel L. Jackson coming in as Nick
20
Fury.
something more movies. That's a big plan.
The Marvel universe is a huge universe.
Well, you have to.
It is.
I mean, you have to admit, like, even though as I've made this same criticism, as predictable as the Marvel Cinematic Universe films can be, you have to
Correct.
admit that, like, in the grand scheme of things, like, you have to give Kevin Feige and the producers
Oh, yeah.
credit for making a cohesive universe
Yeah.
across that many films in the span of a decade.
Yes.
Whereas whereas the DCEU couldn't even do that with
What?
one. With Man of Steel. Man of Steel alone was an incoherent mess.
Oh, we'll get to that. Don't worry. Just focus on your Marvel.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to hear, like, you always come to the Man of Steel's defense,
Yeah.
and you always make reference, like Victor always makes fun of Man of Steel, but you're like, but you did buy it. I always
he
get a good
did.
laugh.
Oh yes.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. I bought Man of Steel when it was $10 at used at Newberry Comics. I bought this a year.
Steelbook.
No. It was not a steelbook. It was a digibook.
Looked like a steelbook to me.
It was not a steelbook.
Okay.
I
Wait,
bought.
didn't you give it to him?
Yeah, I did. Because I wasn't using it. But I bought it a year before Batman vs. Superman came out. And that's when BVS had promise. Now, Man of Steel was a flawed film, yes. But when I looked at the trailers at the time, I thought that, okay, there's some elements here that might work, even though, like, you know, we saw the end result of BVS. It was a trash fire.
The 33, I called it the 33% orphan fight.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I mean, like, Martha. I mean, come on.
Thank
But yeah, like that movie solidified what Zack Snyder was ultimate vision was of Superman, and it made me realize that Zack Snyder either had contempt or an active misunderstanding of the Superman character. And so BVS was so horrible that it made Man of Steel that much worse. Like the flaws were magnified to the point where it's like, oh, I can't sit and watch this anymore because I know what happens afterwards, and I know. I was like, no, John, you can have it. Take it off my hands.
Now, didn't Christopher Nolan? Now, you always said that the gold standard to superhero movies was the Christopher Nolan trilogy,
Yeah, the Dark Knight trilogy. Yeah.
right? Didn't Christopher Nolan direct?
Oh no.
No.
He produced it. He
Yeah,
was.
I think he actually envisioned. He tried to pull his weight to have his brother Jonathan Nolan to direct the film, but I guess lack of experience with a big budget film, they felt Snyder was the better choice.
No, I see.
And Snyder directed Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. And like,
I mean, I'll come to this defense. I mean, it's up to you if you want to just bounce back and forth.
oh yeah, we can
go ahead.
We can bounce
like,
all
bring
around.
your
All
fact,
right,
do
I will
what you
gladly.
got.
All right, Man of Steel. First off, he liked it enough to buy it. I mean, that's a fact. He bought it, and then rather than even chuck it or eat it or whatever, he decided to kindly mail it to me, which I was very happy to receive. And I always thought it was all right, but I watched it again after he did send it to me, and I have to say, I mean, I appreciate a lot more what he did, which kills me because I'm not a Zack Snyder fan at all. I cannot stand his stuff.
300?
Awful, terrible,
it was
unwatchable. It is so
300
bad.
Was trash.
Yeah.
Garbage.
I enjoyed the hell. I think honestly, I saw 300 3 times in the theater.
Wait, if you're the Persian army, why would you only bring one rhino? That's what I want to know. You think they'd have more than one?
Great action.
I know.
Like it fit. Okay, it was great for its time. It probably didn't age well because I can't even remember the last time I watched it.
Yeah, like you watch it now. It's
I actually
like,
I actually do own it on Blu-ray. I believe I never bought the second one, but I think I do own it on Blu-ray. I'll try watching it again to see if it's one of those like movies that age.
Yeah, superficial action and
It doesn't. Yeah.
yeah.
And well, anyway, going back to Man of Steel, and this is one of the things that I think is like interesting about it. And look back to what was it, Vic? 2006. Brandon Ruth in Return of Superman.
Oh, Superman Returns.
Superman Returns. Thanks.
Yeah.
And But here's the thing, though. I mean, if you notice about that film, it models so much Donner's original Superman. I mean,
Yeah.
Ruth basically is like the exact same Clark Kent.
Yeah.
And what I like about this,
Talking
and I had
about
a
the 70s one.
yeah, and what I like about this is that rather than go for Christopher Reeve, he does do a different approach, and you get a total inversion of what the character is,
Yeah.
especially with the parents, and I feel it's like horribly underrated because. First off, this has everything that like I feel like a comic book movie should have. It has like giant robots battling each other. They have people destroying stuff, superpowered people, and destruction. And you have this element of like whether or not he's a savior or just just a regular guy like you and me. And he doesn't have all the answers. And I'll try. I can talk a lot about this. I'll try to keep it short. But there's no real solution with Zod. So he has to kill him. He has to. And they have some cool quotes in that movie, like a good death is its own rewards. And if you love these people, then you can mourn for them. That's awesome.
There's only one thing I remember from the Brandon
but-
Ruth episode.
But by killing Zod, he's showing his humanity and he's also showing his guilt and that he doesn't have those answers. And that's kind of where Batman versus Superman falls apart. I'll kind of stop there, but it was an outstanding score. Probably, that's one of the ones that I really, really enjoyed, and again, Victor owned it.
Listen, like I said,
Wait, the Brandon Ruth one?
No. Well, I don't know if he owns that one. He definitely owns
never
Man
did.
of
There's
Steel.
only one thing I remember from that movie. That the one thing that stood up was the CGI sequence, the cheesy CGI at that, where somebody tries to shoot Superman and the bullet bends in his eye.
oh yeah,
yeah.
And yeah, I remember.
Other than that, that's it.
And then
Oh, and Kevin Spacey was Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
And Cal Penn did not speak in that entire movie.
That's true. I remember that.
he gets to fight a giant island. That was so awful. It was like of all the things you could have him do,
Yeah.
he lifts an island. Whoop-de-doo.
But I mean, like I will say, like to all those to all those points about the treatment of Superman and Clark Kent and Man of Steel, like those were interesting directions that Snyder was taking the character.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it does show that Snyder either misunderstands Superman or has an active contempt for the character because there's no reason why Pa Kent should tell Superman that, oh, maybe you shouldn't have saved those kids from drowning in that bus, just to keep your identity. Oh, maybe you should have let him die. And then that one scene where Pa Kent actually tells him not to save him from that tornado. Like, what? No wonder Superman or Henry Cavill Superman grows up to be this morose Christ figure who's like, oh, the world is on my shoulders. Oh, these lowly humans, they're not as powerful as me, and I gotta stoop myself low to save these lowly humans, and they're not worth my time. It's like you get that vibe from him, like he doesn't enjoy being Superman, that he doesn't enjoy existing. He's just morose and depressing. No. That's not what Superman should be. Superman's a big blue Boy Scout. He's the inspiration.
And that's where Batman versus Superman kind of falls apart. But I mean, you have to think in terms of the greater good. He's fairly young when his father dies, in terms of saving the kids, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, he was afraid of what could happen to him. And then also, if he reveals his identity, what happens to Pa Kent and Ma Kent or Martha? So I think it was mostly to protect them and also to protect him. I mean, I guess he didn't think he could handle all that at that time. But yeah, Batman versus Superman. I mean, I admit, okay, bad parts. The dreams and the poor editing were pretty awful. The Martha quote. You know what? Mark actually sent me a birthday card, and he just like pasted a picture of Ben Affleck screaming Martha, "Happy birthday." Happy birthday, Martha. And then, yeah, I mean, there are so many things that didn't belong. Like the Doomsday was forced.
Heavily.
Yeah.
And he didn't even look like Doomsday.
Now, did you guys see the old animated series where Joker and Luthor team up? I don't remember the movie. Come on, you know everything.
Was it Justice League?
What?
Was it the Justice League show?
No, it was just Batman and Superman animated movie or something. It was like one of those like
those
70-minute films, 80-minute film, or something like
Bruce
that.
Timm joints.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I don't think I've seen that. I haven't seen it.
And it was perfect. I mean, initially, they start out as rivals, and then they immediately kind of, kiss and make up, and then you have Joker and Luthor working perfectly together.
Yeah.
And then Joker, of course, steals the show and tries to destroy Metropolis. But it was really, really well done.
Ah.
But I think that's a model that they could have, followed. Like, I didn't need Doomsday, and I would have been way happier if they just recreated that animated series with Joker and Luthor. Maybe throw in Metallo or Brainiac. Brainiac would have been more logical choice than Doomsday. But then I guess without Doomsday, you don't get Wonder Woman. I don't know.
I think still could have put Wonder Woman somehow, somewhere. I mean, they done threw everybody else in an email attachment.
That's true.
Yeah.
With their icons, no less, that he probably Googled.
Yeah. Like he hired a graphic designer to make those logos.
Exactly. Like,
Did you at least like the warehouse fight with Batman?
that was probably the best part of that entire movie.
Yeah, that was. It reminded me a lot of the Arkham games.
That's exactly where it came from.
Yeah.
Oh, they did a YouTube parody of that where they actually have all the like combo hits and like actions and motions whenever he's blocking.
Oh wow.
And it was pretty well done. I mean, it gets a little long, and you get it after about a minute. But somebody did the whole like 4-minute fight.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That was
Combo breaker.
Yeah, that was another thing too. It's like with BVS, like we literally waited 3 hours because that movie was too long.
Yeah, it was.
We literally waited like 3 hours for an 8-minute fight, and then a deformed Ninja Turtle comes up, and they have to join forces.
Yeah. Yeah. Then
A Michael Bay Ninja Turtle at that. So you can't get any worse than that. Oh, Zack Snyder proved us wrong.
Oh no! See, they bounced back with Suicide Squad.
Let's get into that. Let's get into the
sure.
hot. Let's get
Without
into the hot
question.
topic Avengers.
yes. Oh, Suicide Squad was
Awful.
garbage. Oof.
Awful.
Like it wasn't as bad as Batman vs Superman, but that's like saying getting slapped in the face with an iron glove is better than getting punched in the gut with brass knuckles.
Honestly, I rather would have had Thanos like snap his fingers right when I was watching that movie.
Yeah, it's like the pain's almost the same. It's like you got to choose which one you want to live with.
I mean, what is really the most memorable thing about Suicide Squad? Harley Quinn's costume.
Yeah, and Enchantress, the pop locking sorceress.
Oh my god, awful pop locking at that. I mean, I'm retired and I could probably still.
I mean, it looks so weird. I didn't know if it was like a part CG effect because like the way she was like pop locking and whatnot, it was like a floating head effect.
Yeah.
I
mean, I've seen dancers do that, but it was just like it was. And it looked like the CGI just got so cheesy towards the end. It's like you can visually see the studio running out of money.
Yeah, and not to mention the trailer house that cut the film. They edited the What are you doing, Warner Brothers?
He was quoting that trailer left and right. Like he would call me and just repeat all the Joker quotes. He was so excited for this film.
Oh,
Listen,
really? Cholo Joker. Wait, go ahead.
Do you hear some interference? Do you hear anything?
No.
Oh, that's the sound of this movie winning an Oscar.
Okay, now
Oh,
let's get into that. Hold on,
Victor's
let's get into that. 'cause
Victor's
I
Academy.
was right. No.
Victor's, church essentially gave this movie an
listen.
Oscar.
Listen,
This movie has an Oscar.
for best makeup and hairstyling.
It's still an
Listen,
Oscar.
2016 was a weak year for makeup and hairstyling, apparently, because it was Suicide Squad and there was like one other film.
I'm actually trying to look up. Look up the nominees.
Yeah, what was the other nominee? Because it was a very weak year because there was only 2 nominees for that category, John.
And Suicide Squad won it.
By default, practically.
Amazingly.
By
'Cause it was
default.
So good.
Listen,
Picture,
all right,
best
I'll tell you. I'll put it to you.
I'm looking for it right now. Y'all can go ahead and keep going.
I'll put it to you this way. Okay. Yeah. Yes. The DCEU has won Oscars, such as it is to their credit. But has any DCEU film been nominated for any of the major categories? I'm talking about like writing, directing, cinematography. No. Marvel, despite not being the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Marvel has one legit major Oscar category to their credit, and that's for Logan.
That was
Best
Fox.
Still a Marvel property.
Fox.
Still Marvel property. You have to give it to me. It's Fox, whatever, but still. But well, Disney owns Fox now, but still.
Not yet.
Not
Nope.
yet. But
Not yet.
it's-
Comcast doing a.
Yeah, but yeah. Logan was nominated for an Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay, the first ever comic book film in history to get that nomination.
But
Has any DC film got it? No.
And not to mention, okay, I got it right there. They won for best makeup and hairstyling.
Mm-hmm.
The other two movies were A Man Called Ove. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
All right. And Star Trek Beyond.
There you go. There you go. It was a
Who
weak
remember?
year.
First of all,
wait, you're a sports fan, right?
I am.
Who remembers the losers? You remember the winner. They won.
A lot of people remember the losers.
Oh,
Suicide Squad wins.
No, it's just one Oscar, and it's for makeup and hairstyling. I'm talking about major categories.
Winning's winning.
Talk to me if and when DCEU wins for Best Picture, Directing, Actor, Actress, Supporting Actor, Cinematography, Best Adapted Screenplay. Yeah.
Well,
Adapted Screenplay.
we
Nominations
did
at
get
that.
a
Score.
if you want to focus on purely on DC, I mean, Dark Knight, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
I mean, he got supporting
Okay,
actor.
see, nah.
Well, that's true. Well, I'm talking about. Well, that's different. I'm talking
People
about
that
DCEU.
helped kill him. But
Well, I'm talking about DCEU. Let's not talk about. I mean, that's Nolan. But let's talk about the DCEU. Man of Steel onwards, 2013
Sure.
forward. But
Well,
yeah.
I still feel this movie has now, for whatever flaws it has, and I admit, Enchantress is a lame freaking villain. I do really recommend, though, if you haven't seen it, the animated Assault on Arkham.
I've heard that was really
It
good.
is.
That
I mean,
was
that's the
good.
movie they should have made, and I
Yeah.
think part of the problem why they included Enchantress is because they felt like they'd just be recreating a live action version with the Joker. But I still think the Joker should have been the main antagonist. I mean, that would have been more simpler, contained. But I guess having read comics for so many years, for some reason, and it's just I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name from Rococo's.
Reagan.
Reagan.
Yeah, I mean, he said that he's felt the same way.
Oh, wait, Jim
I
Savard
mean, he
on the
was
show?
he
Jim
was
Savard,
yeah. Okay, thank you. He was pro Suicide Squad, at least as I recall it.
Yeah.
Not to put words in his mouth or anything, but and for me, I feel like it really carried a comic book vibe, and that's why I enjoyed it so much.
Okay, the Joker would have been a better antagonist, correct? But that Joker, Cholo Joker, he didn't even get the. He didn't. Hold on. Heath Ledger barely laughed. No, he did, but that was more Joker
Yeah.
instead of.
Oh yeah.
That was the Joker's laugh.
Yeah.
That's not the Joker I know.
Yeah, Jared Leto, man, he made some awful choices in that role, man, and he won an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club. Yeah,
Irony?
yeah.
What was the
Irony.
movie with him and Christian Bale? And Christian Bale kills him.
Hey, Jared Leto and Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Oh, American Psycho.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great movie. I love that movie. Yeah. But yeah, Suicide Squad, it had the right elements in place, but you gotta admit that the plot, it was an idiot plot. The only reason why the events happened in that film was because of Amanda Waller's doing.
Viola
basically.
Davis,
Yeah.
Oscar winner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen.
For
my-
what? For what? The help? No.
No
no.
doubt.
No, Fences.
Fence.
I thought she won Doubt.
No, she was nominated for Doubt.
Oh,
but she,
that's baloney.
Yeah, but she won for Fences.
She was great in that movie.
Oh yeah, she
Yeah,
was.
she's from Rhode Island.
Yeah,
Central Falls.
My uncle actually taught her.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You did mention
Really?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is interesting as hell.
Yeah. But yeah, Suicide Squad, it had an idiot plot, and I'm sorry, but that film with better writing and better editing, it should have been an R. It should have been a hard R.
Definitely. I agree.
Yeah.
But it was originally supposed to be, wasn't it? But then they did some re-editing to say, "Oh, let's make this lighter," and that was another major blow
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah, because they saw the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy, and they were like, "Oh man, we got to use pop songs just as much as that movie."
Which I actually kind of like the music.
The soundtrack
pretty
was
cool with it.
okay for
Although-
the three songs, the three good songs. that they
Wait,
had.
what'd you like? I like the
Heathen,
Yeah.
Heathen's Purple Lamborghini, and
Was it You Don't Own Me?
Yeah, you don't.
No,
Own Me.
hell no.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. You Don't
I
Own
did
Me.
not like that
Oh,
song.
that's too bad.
It was like
thinking on the
Ty
third
Dolla
one.
Sign, Imagine Dragons, Logic. I listened to it a lot too.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that's. Oh wait, Confidential. I started a joke.
Was it Bohemian Rhapsody?
No.
No.
And Bohemian
Oh, well,
Rhapsody
anyway,
is just a classic song.
Have you watched the music video though for Purple Lamborghini?
Yes, I
With-
have.
oh my gosh, it was so awkward. It was so weird.
Sucker for Pain.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, that was yeah.
Yeah, Lil Wayne, Wiz Khalifa, Imagine
Yeah.
Dragons, and a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah.
Now I will say, like, after Suicide Squad, you do have one.
Oh no! I feel like we're doing too much DC bashing. I have to
No,
return
no.
and knock some Marvel down.
Okay.
I don't even want you to hear this joke over here. Start trashing Wonder Woman's action sequences and CGI.
No,
Forget it.
I was gonna say that you do have Wonder Woman. That's your one.
Oh, I'll
That's
run,
your one,
run with it.
which
but,
I'll agree with because I love Wonder Woman.
but you know,
To a certain
for-
extent, but go ahead, John.
for as many of these movies you have, I mean, all right, I'm going back to the Incredible, or no, I'll go back to Iron Man. Iron Man 2, we got Whiplash. It's an
Yeah.
implausible, poor choice, garbage movie. And hey, where'd Cuba Gooding Jr. go?
You mean Terrence Howard?
Oh yeah, that was him, wasn't it?
That was him, man.
Whoops.
That was it. That was the main.
Oh, that was Terrence Howard.
yeah.
Well, anyway, we got Don Cheadle, and that was cool.
Yep.
But it was an anticlimactic film. Oh wait, I know why I'm thinking of Cuba Gooding Jr.'s because I really wanted to have you watch that. What was that called? It was a really bad comedy. I really wanted to make you watch
Boat
it.
Trip?
Yeah, I think that was it.
No, I'm not watching Boat Trip. I refuse.
That's why I had that on my mind.
I refuse to watch.
I
Boat
felt like
Trip.
that should be a
I
challenge
don't
or
watch
something.
Boat Trips. I never watched it.
But yeah, I mean, like I love Don Cheadle, so I mean, I was glad he replaced Terrence Howard. But I mean, that was really
I
the
was okay with that.
highlight of the film. I mean, I really like him as an actor. And then
Oh, he's amazing.
Iron Man 3, is another missed opportunity. I don't think, the timing. Well, I mean, maybe the timing was okay, but I mean, like him going through the PTSD and I don't know. There were too many issues I had with the film. Like they basically stole, I think, a storyline from Daredevil where they use MGH, like mutant growth hormone or something like that. And Guy Pearce was wasted. I mean, I really feel like instead of just having him fight Guy Pearce, that they should have brought in like the real Mandarin and more. I think it would be even sillier or just fun. I would have accepted it because I mean they had the alien invasion by then, so they just bring in Fing Fang Foom, who's like a giant dragon, which I think would have been kind of cool. But I mean, both of those movies didn't need to be made.
Yeah, I'll agree. The Iron Man sequels are disposable. I agree with you there.
Okay.
Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, disposable as well.
Yeah.
The first with Ed Norton?
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one.
I mean, it was enjoyable once, but then Edward Norton turns out that he's a prick who's hard to work with because he actually had the nerve to rewrite the script while they were shooting.
Who was this?
Edward Norton.
Oh, he actually.
Yeah, he rewrote the script as they were shooting the Incredible Hulk, and then Marvel and Disney realized like, oh, clearly you're not a team player. We got to get you out of here. So they replaced him with Mark Ruffalo.
Marvel and Universal.
Universal, yeah, yeah, like, well, you know what I mean. Like he
Yeah, I
was
know what you
ultimately replaced. And Mark Ruffalo's a better Bruce Banner.
I definitely agree with that one.
I don't know. I kind of like the ego factor.
Yeah, of Edward.
Yeah,
Really?
I was like Norton. So I mean, I was okay with him as Bruce Banner.
Yeah, but at that time, but that story has already passed, and then Mark Ruffalo, Ruffalo's version, he already had went, Bruce Banner had already went through those changes where he was actually they found him South America, is it?
Yeah.
So he became much
facial
more of
surgery.
a humble
Yeah.
character.
Yeah. I mean, Edward Norton was a great actor, but still.
I think some of it was based off of Peter David's early work in must have been the late '90s or early 2000s. They actually referenced some of that Mr. Blue stuff for communicate. Mr. Blue and Mr. Green was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But they also they included what was his name, General Ross,
Yeah.
right, in the most recent one of the most recent films, and yet Betty Brant and the leader kind of disappear from the universe. They're gone.
There's a lot of people still looking around. Who knows? They probably got Thanos.
Yeah. They probably got
There you go.
Yeah.
And I thought Abomination was dumb. I mean, he has no
Well,
regret on his
At
transformation.
that time, Marvel was all the Marvel villains were pretty much carbon copies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
jumping to Thor.
Yeah. Thor.
So bad that Portman walked away. I mean, she threw that performance away, right? I mean, and that's from someone who starred in the Star Wars prequel. So I mean, that's gotta hurt. Loki's relationship was entirely forced. Come on, that soap opera garbage. Oh man, brother, I love you, but we're at conflicts. I want to keep. No, I can't. Forget it.
I'm okay with it because brothers fight.
Well, okay. Well, I'll say this: like the first Thor is the best Thor film. Like the Dark World is completely forgettable.
Yeah, who's the bad guy in Dark World?
Malekith, the elf.
Wow, I cannot believe you remembered that. That all right? Hats off to you.
It's because I had to memorize it. That's why.
Yeah, I didn't even bother because it's stupid. I don't
Yeah.
know. I've never heard of this character before. I was kind of hoping for like I don't know, like what the Absorbing Man or Ulick. I guess Ulick would have been kind of cool because he's just massive. But then I guess he's kind of like the Hulk, and I don't know how it fits. But which Portman threw away her performance in the sequel as well.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, she phoned it in.
Yep.
She got that Marvel check, so good for her.
Hey,
And Ragnarok, well,
I was fun. I was cool with Ragnarok.
like
They made what's her face hella too powerful.
oh Hela.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember your email. Like do gnomes make those weapons?
Yeah, where do they come
Something.
from? There can't be an unlimited amount. At least have some type of explanation for it, like the shadows or something. Anything.
Well, she's a daughter of a god.
I could understand lightning. I don't know.
Yeah.
But spikes taking physical form.
Well, what did you think of the Guardians films, though?
All right, now the first one, I will go Team Marvel. I'll give it to you. I do like it, and I thought I was gonna hate it. Now, what's ironic about that though is like those were the most garbage characters in the comics. I never once gave them second thought, not once in my life, and I enjoyed the film. And it still kind of holds up on the small screen. I do have maybe a few little gripes with it. Like Thanos using the word "boy" was pretty stupid. Poor writing, lazy writing. I think.
One person can pull out two people in the Marvel universe.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
not Marvel universe. But I think only two people could pull off the word "boy" like so well.
Oh yeah.
Kratos and
Oh, Reggie Cathy.
yeah.
The late great Reggie Cathy. Your name is the name I gave you, boy.
I was like, damn. Like,
Yeah. I would say like the first Guardians I enjoy a lot more than part two. Part two was rather a letdown.
Yeah.
wasn't as good. I enjoyed part two. Wasn't as good as the first one. Like
Yeah.
Guardians, the first Guardians, that's just that was the one that really expanded the Marvel universe. Like it became the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Like they took it outside besides New York, because where was everything pretty much taking place in?
Yeah, pretty
New
much
York.
New York.
But two had your forced comedy. Drax just started to get annoying. I did like Mantis's inclusion. I was very surprised. And one of the things that I liked about her though is that her powers were simple and straightforward,
Yeah.
as opposed to like a lot of these other characters where they, we haven't gotten to Avengers yet, but like they're constantly making them so powerful in the comics, which drives me crazy.
Just like they do with DC when
well,
like
no-
pretty much everybody's like Superman's a god. That's what makes him so boring. Like,
I'm cool with that though, but I mean he can't save everybody, and that's his dilemma.
Yeah.
Whereas like all right, Invisible Woman, I was happy with her just being invisible, but now she has like tech shields and telekinesis or something. Human Torch, like I'm just cool with him just turning into fire. That's all I need. I don't need him to like have a supernova level power,
Yeah.
and I don't need the
But
thing to summon
eventually-
rocks.
I mean, but eventually, like characters do have to evolve. They have
Yeah,
to.
I mean I can give you that, but
gain certain skills and stuff instead of just being flatline bland and just having flight, strength, and X-ray vision. Shots fired.
And freezing breath.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to your Guardians, I mean, pointless cameos. Why was Stallone in that movie? Why was Michelle Yeoh in that movie? We're probably not going to see them again. And then killing what's his face, Yondu,
Yeah.
Michael Rooker,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah, that's him. I'm terrible with names. But I don't know. And that's one of those things where it's like, if he was gonna die, he should have died in the next movie or in the Infinity War for like legit. It just didn't fit for me. Because I started to like him, and then just pulled out of the movie. It's like, okay, whatever.
It's kind of like wrestling.
Yeah.
When somebody's like over that much, it's like, all right, let's just kind of pull the plug in, like while he still has that buzz, while he's still hot, before he gets stale and boring.
Yeah. Now you mentioned Avengers. Like, what do you think of the 3 films?
All right, so this is my issue with the first one. Okay, and when I was like 14 or 15, something like that. I'm trying to remember. Was it 99? Phantom Menace came out. Was it 99?
Yeah, 99.
I love that movie. Like, I went into that theater like 7 or 8 times to see like Darth Maul, and just covered my ears whenever Jar Jar was there. But I was like, it's good. But then I see it on the small screen. I was just like, nope.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I felt about Avengers. I enjoyed the movie experience, and then when I watched it on the small screen, I was just like, this is awful. And again, forced action sequences that I'm supposed to care about. And I mean, come on, like all those like lame things. It's like, oh, I've been angry all the time. That's my secret. Whoopity doo. And then he just conveniently punches that thing, and everybody's standing around. I hope he turns into the Hulk. But okay, whatever.
But was you expecting that to be the secret? No.
No,
There's some element of surprise there. I'm like, yo, he was angry the whole time, so how was he able to suppress that? Now that you still had like some questions and all that.
Yeah, he was able to control his rage. He was able to control the Hulk. And besides, like looking at Avengers as a standalone film, it's an enjoyable.
Very enjoyable. If it comes on TV, I can still sit down and watch it.
Yeah, it's fun.
I can't do it.
I would not. I mean, I would say, like, how dare you equate it to the Phantom Menace, man?
That's what it is. It's just it's like one of those movies. It'd be like one of those things. Like if my wife told me to clean the counters or something, I'd go do that instead of watch this movie. I'd go cut the grass, paint something. I'm terrible at like being a handyman type of person. Like changing lights. I would rather do that than watch this movie.
That's some hate in your blood.
That's hate.
It is.
That is pure.
And you know what? And it's like how it's kind of unfair. I think in the way how you equate. All right, so let's say, all right, fine. You like Avengers, that's fine. But Avengers 2.
All right, I will say this: Avengers 2, like at the time it came out, I think it got a bum rap because we expected something more because like the Marvel hype train was such an absurd height at the time that I think that when it came out, we expected something more than what we got. Like it was more or less a rehash of the first film's like plot beats.
Yeah.
But still kind of kept the train. But it still kept the train going.
Yeah, it still kept the narrative train going. There were still some interesting elements like the introduction of Vision.
Who conveniently forgot how powerful he is. Remember when he was first like introduced, like, oh man, stay away from this guy, and then in the next Avengers: Infinity War, all he does is to get beaten up on.
Well, it's because
they had to.
Yeah, they had to nerf him. I mean, besides, he's still exploring his humanity because he's still trying to explore that side of him because he's an android. He's a walking existential crisis. Like, I'm an android, but I have a soul. I'm human. Like, what am I? Am I God? Am I robot? What am I? Like it's an interesting dynamic, and plus besides his love story with
he's boring, because that movie I almost fell asleep in. I really did.
I mean, and besides,
it don't take much for you to fall asleep.
And he's wrestling with guilt because he accidentally shot Rhodey from the sky in Civil War, and then he paralyzed him. So
that was after though.
Well, yeah, Civil War.
Okay, and then Scarlet Witch sucked. I hated her. I had no emotion for Quicksilver dying, and plus Future Past, Days of Future Past did it better with Quicksilver.
I agree with you there. Yeah.
It's more of a comedic though.
And then you get another commercial aspect with Thor. What isn't this the movie where he goes to the magical pool or whatever?
Yeah, and he gets.
Yeah, that was necessary for the film. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with you there. But
oh, and one more thing too is like I felt Ultron's voice was all wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't like James Spader?
No, I think they could have done better. It wasn't
Robert California.
like I know he's going for classy, but didn't do it for me.
All know, like what did you expect Ultron to sound like?
Put me on the spot. What's his name? From he did Mufasa's voice.
Oh,
James Earl Jones.
No. Oh wait, not Mufasa. Scar.
Oh,
Jeremy Irons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. More like Jeremy Irons. Like, because when he talks, I mean, it's like a bit more menacing. This was just like, I feel like someone telling me to do my homework. You know.
I mean, Jeremy Irons. He's a great actor. I mean, probably one of the only good things about Batman versus Superman, if you ask me.
He tried.
Yeah.
Even then, but it's like once he started talking, I'm like, Scar talking to me.
Well, I mean, he's done way more movies than that, and besides,
Well, I know that, but it's just like that's
yeah.
more. I'm sure I've probably seen him in other movies that
Yeah.
I just can't think of. But
Oh,
it's
Die
like
Hard.
that's the one that stands out the most.
Die Hard with a Vengeance. He was the main villain.
Yeah, he was pretty good in that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, and Sam Jackson was in that.
Yeah. And quick aside, The Lion King still the best Disney film ever made. Facts. Wouldn't you agree? As far as animated films.
I didn't hate it.
Okay, well, what would you
No,
say,
no, yeah, all right, animated.
What would you say is better, The Lion King or Aladdin?
I see what
I
you
think I'd have to go with Lion King.
Lion
I really
King?
would. Yeah.
Why?
Okay,
Wise choice.
I see
Yeah.
what you did there.
Yeah, numbers don't lie. 9 out of 10 people say Lion King over Aladdin. Facts. Check your lawyer. Anyway, let's move on.
Man. Oh, wait, go on ahead, because I got some. You said numbers don't lie, so I got some facts. For
Oh,
you,
you can drop whatever box office records
Oh,
you want.
dude,
I mean,
like-
it's pointless. It doesn't matter. I mean,
I'm not even.
you're
gonna talk
looking at
box
this.
office records.
It doesn't.
We
It's
know
completely
we know,
unnecessary.
like,
This guy
it's-
over here sees movies that make like $100,000, for their like lifetime performance or something. And then he's like,
Yeah.
"This is the greatest movie ever," and no one gets to see it. As alternatively, look at how much money these Transformers movies have made.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, like that is the definition of what he describes as a mouth breather. So I don't think
Yeah.
money dictates.
Oh, I'm not even talking money.
because-
I'm talking about the from the critic standpoint.
Okay,
Okay,
you
on
know,
average, Marvel movies have gotten an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes and 68 on Metacritic, whereas DC, their average is 48 and
Damn.
52 on Metacritic.
That's an F, son.
That is.
I think they're a little harsh, and I also don't trust. I don't necessarily trust Rotten Tomatoes algorithm
I do,
anymore.
but honestly, they
Yeah,
have
I
not.
think it's-
When it comes to DC, they have
kind of-
not disappointed. They have basically like told the truth.
Well,
Okay, when I first saw BVS, they gave it 33%. Hence why I gave it the name, the 33% Orphan Fight.
I was surprised. I mean, they gave Man of Steel 55. I mean, it wasn't a 55 movie for me, but
Like Suicide Squad
so,
was lower.
I mean, some of these other Marvel films though that got like decent reviews.
like which ones?
I mean, I don't have the list in front of me. I don't memorize these numbers like you because I'd rather do
I
something
ain't
better with my
memorize the
time.
numbers, so
Yeah.
don't even feel bad.
I don't know. I just don't always buy into it.
Yeah.
I'd rather be my own judge, I guess. I mean, don't get me
agree.
wrong. I mean, there are a few. I really miss having, Ebert around. Like, he was my
Yeah.
go-to critic.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
They
Man-
both died.
Yeah, Siskel died in
He
'99.
died before him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
died.
Ebert died.
Yeah,
Like,
2013.
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I will say like with DC, you do have Wonder Woman, and I'm with
do.
you there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Now,
the twist, the twist at the end,
well, we did,
like
this is where we
it just
differ.
did not. It just did not appeal to me. Like the fight in the end just did not appeal to me. It just seriously looked like just like Suicide Squad, where the studio, like the CGI, got so cheesy, and the next thing you know, like it was their version of a Guardians Marvel light show, and it just, I don't know, I wasn't sold on it, and I'm just like, okay, the twist is that she's fighting Nigel Thornberry.
Well, I mean, we kind of differ on this
We
because
definitely do.
I say that, yeah, even though I will say Wonder Woman, the end fight scene does get too light showy a little bit, but the emotional core is still there because of Steve and Trevor's sacrifice, and it still meant something. So it
And
still
by that
so it
point,
still
I was
worked.
just like,
it still worked. And I think you gave Wonder Woman too low a grade. I think you gave it like a B- or something like that.
I think that was fair.
That was not fair.
It
That's
was like the
definitely fair.
definitive comic book for me in like 10 or 20 years.
Yeah.
That was one of the best comic book movies I've ever seen. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
that movie.
Oh yeah.
It's the only good one that y'all can produce.
Well, hey, Aquaman's coming out. It looks good.
What did I say about Aquaman last week?
Underwater Wakanda.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. They literally, I came across a meme. I want to say I sent it to you, but they literally took the Black Panther trailer or bits and pieces from Black Panther and showed it at the same exact time, frame for frame, of the Aquaman trailer that just came out last week.
Yeah.
The same thing.
Pretty much.
It was
Yeah,
the
it's-
same thing.
It's almost eerie. It's like you almost think that.
It's to the point it looks like DC's just reaching.
I mean, if you're
They
gonna
are
copy,
reaching.
if you're gonna copy from something, copy from the best. I mean, Black Panther, in my view, is the best MCU film next to Infinity War. This is my personal favorite.
No, I don't disagree with it.
Yeah.
No.
But besides Wonder Woman, you have Justice League.
Which was pretty good. I mean, like, I thought it was a fun popcorn film. You know, that's all it was. It didn't have to be this, like, enlightening film. And I know you're just going to bring up the mustache, but it
Oh no.
doesn't.
But
doesn't bother me.
but I have said, like, every time I see Mission Impossible, like a trailer,
Yeah.
I'm just like, this movie ruined that
Oh, I still got to see that.
for you guys. But at the same time, it's just like, where was it go? Steppenwolf was lame.
No, yeah, I mean, they could have
Steppenwolf
done
was
better.
season 7 season 8 Walking Dead lame. Negan lame.
Yeah, I agree. Like Steppenwolf was like Karen's potato salad.
There
of-
was
of
no
villains.
with raisins.
Yeah, with raisins.
Like, what was his purpose? And not to mention, Alfred at the end of BVS, Alfred said, "Oh, who was Alfred talking to? Was that ever revealed?"
Wait, was he talking to somebody?
He was talking to somebody that they did not show on screen, and that was never mentioned again.
Cyborg. I don't remember. I blocked.
I'm gonna get to Cyborg.
I blocked out a lot of that film. So
I'm gonna get to Cyborg.
yeah.
And I, messed up my train of thought. But yeah, Steppenwolf was awful. Steppenwolf was I swear, him and Ares were the same person.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
I think some of the issue, too, though, was
Oh, and they added orange.
the two direct. Did you just destroy the camera?
No, they're still up.
Oh.
No, it's still good. Okay, I just
All
touched it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, very excited. I don't know. I mean, some of it they followed the Marvel playbook, which I think was incorrect, and I didn't need another origin movie. So I think like a series of montage things or something or flashbacks. You could just have the team already formed.
Oh, damn.
But yeah, Steppenwolf, not the best. I also, if you want to start talking about Cyborg, I mean, I'd be glad to. I mean, I actually was okay with him, but I would have preferred Jon Stewart as
Definitely.
my Green Lantern.
Yes.
And he was sorely missing, and that's one of the things that I loved about the animated series. They balanced humor and action very well, and again, I mean, I think like. The director issue, the two directors kind of definitely messed up. the film
Okay,
for a
and
bit.
I'll
it's a
give
sad
you guys
story,
that.
too,
It
so.
was a very sad story with the Zack Snyder family tragedy and all that.
yeah.
So then they brought in Joss Whedon and all that. But it's like so Joss, he had to work what they
Yeah.
gave him,
Yeah.
which really wasn't much. I mean, the whole Aquaman's a dude.
Yeah,
That was pretty much it.
I'm still not sold on Dude Bro Aquaman though.
He's okay.
I mean, and Cyborg was boring.
Yeah, he was.
And he looked horrible. It's literally you're pointing at, it's just you took a whole bunch of aluminum foil, put a laser point on him, and then just like put some blue neon glow sticks on him.
Yeah, and that's pretty accurate. Yeah.
That was it. Cyborg literally had the same purpose as Iron Fist and the Defenders.
Yeah, I guess he did work a key, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much like
Maybe that.
yeah. But
was it.
Oh,
He
speaking
was
of
supposed to be the
awkward
vibranium.
CGI though,
Yeah.
Thanos.
Thanos,
Right.
that was excellent
You know,
CG.
so
Excellent.
many. No, you put him in that. You wait until that Blu-ray comes out. You see him in the water. I mean, like, I kept thinking there were so many different times I was watching that movie. I just kept picturing Homer Simpson.
Oh, it was because of the
Oh,
meme I posted.
it wasn't just the meme. I thought I sent you that meme. Unless that was maybe I don't know. But anyway, but yeah, throughout that thing, I saw.
I
That
don't.
was okay.
I don't know.
don't
And
know,
then
but-
not to mention, let's get to the DCEU villains.
Sure.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Real quick.
Nobody gave a fuck about them. Nobody cared. They had no mainly their sole purpose was just to be a villain. We couldn't understand them. We didn't feel for. Now, granted, Marvel just started doing this a couple of movies ago.
Yeah.
You know, like whereas like in Infinity Wars and in Black Panther, even slightly in Ant-Man and the Wasp, like you actually kind of cheered for them. You understood their motives, while DC's was just, I'm going to destroy the world. Nyah, 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 nyah. You know what I mean? And then the Jesse Eisenberg project.
Wait, General Zod though wanted to recreate Krypton.
Yeah.
I mean, so he had a purpose,
He did.
and Ares wanted to just eliminate humanity. So I'm fine with
Nyah,
that.
nyah, 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 nyah.
God above a human.
Well,
so
I will say with Ares, the Ares is bang on. Like he served his purpose and as General Zod, but the other villains in the DCEU, yeah, I
Like,
agree.
there was just
But-
nothing. There was
well, they just keep trying to develop them though. I mean, going on Doctor Strange, like Chiwetel Ejiofor's Baron Mordo.
Yeah.
I mean, all right, we get it. You know, they're gonna be friends briefly, and then they separate, and now we have to wait another 3 or 4 movies until they battle. Inevitably, we know it's gonna happen,
Yeah.
and I feel like at least to some degree, I don't know where DC is going with some of their movies. So
DC
if
doesn't
they're
even
gonna
know where
if they're gonna kill somebody, I mean, so be it. Whereas like in Infinity War, spoilers, so many characters, I already know they have their sequels developed, and I know there's another Avengers movie. So I mean, it's like, what's the point? And I swear, if Captain Marvel, is the one who saves the day, I really, and my wife is like back there, like just zoning out. But I mean, I know she'll hear this and like tattoo this on my arm that, I mean, if she is the one, I will not see another Marvel film ever again. If I don't care what sequel it is, I mean, I think that would be the lamest, like, oh, here's this character that's always existed. We could have brought her back to fight Loki, but nah, we had our Avengers, Ultra, nah. So I'm going to be very, very upset about that.
Yeah, that would be too Deus Ex Machina.
It would be a letdown because my thing is I'm waiting to see Adam Warlock.
Well, you're not going to see him until I would assume Guardians 3, right?
But
think so.
if they go with the comics,
I don't
because
think
Adam
that-
Warlock does play a huge factor in the Infinity Wars.
Now, I will say, I'd love to continue this debate. There's so much ground we could cover.
Are we killing time? Yeah, it's getting a little...
but yeah, we are
okay.
approaching the 2-hour mark.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Time
So-
flies when you're having fun.
So yeah, if you wanted to, wrap up last points you guys wanted to make before we wrap the show with the question of the week.
I kind of did just like cover all of my.
I guess, like, straight up, though, apologies to Jim if I did get your interpretation or thoughts on Suicide Squad. He did like the film, though, right?
He
Or am I
did.
wrong? Yeah, okay, so
Yeah.
I'm not going crazy. But
Yeah.
I guess, like, in look, my final thoughts in a nutshell, I feel like to some degree DC has a certain aesthetic or tone to it that I really do appreciate. And while I mean, they are in maybe the lost column, but I still have fun with the movies. I cannot describe it. Whereas like most of the Marvel films, with exception to maybe Ant-Man, Black Panther was really cool. I love Killmonger. It was a sympathetic. Oh wait, sorry. I'm gonna go.
Not like.
I liked. No, I said it was all right. That's my way of saying it. I didn't hate it. But they with characters like that, I can probably get more on the Marvel train. But I don't know. I guess like it's very weird to be just throwing all these movies at me. But regardless, I guess my final. I don't know. I'll just be Team Iron Fist, I guess.
Oh,
But yeah, for me, and I won't drag that out. But I really appreciate it. Thanks for bringing me on the
Oh, man, it
bringing
was a
on the show.
pleasure.
Love being here, man.
oh yeah,
It
thank
was
you.
a pleasure.
Yeah.
We appreciate
enjoy your show.
We appreciate you just following
Yeah.
like after all this time. But yeah, let's get into the question of the week because we are
Yeah.
going a little over. So last week's question of the week was, what underrated video game franchise would you reboot? Now, the Instagram, I guess I probably misguided a lot of people because I posted the image I chose were just a whole bunch of controllers from past systems.
Yeah.
So a lot of people said GameCube and Dreamcast, which was one Mecha Human. Random Ramblings with Rob also said Dreamcast. AJ the Greater Good. AJ Presents the Greater Good went ahead and said Dreamcast was ahead of his time. John Aponic, you
Hey,
said
Streets of Rage.
Rage. You can't. Hey, high five on that one, man.
Yeah.
You can't mess with that one. And then others put GameCube and N64 has the best wrestling games ever. Then GoldenEye.
Oh, GoldenEye would be cool.
That could have got.
could do
That
some
could have
stuff with
like
it.
lasted. We could have got a couple of GoldenEyes.
But I don't know. Would you want it to be first person, or do you think it'd be better like Uncharted type of style?
Maybe both.
Yeah. Could do both.
Nick Quattrini said, I like PC games in the 90s. I had an N64, but I like StarCraft. I'd love to see StarCraft 3 come to the Switch. I also like to see another Rampage game. They were pretty simple button mash and collect points game. But after the film, I think they could give each character a story and make the monsters boss battles. Brian Lopes from the UWO podcast said, Dreamcast PSO needs to come back. And then Tony Sedani says Time Splitters.
That's a
Oh
good
yeah,
one.
that was cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
used to play that a lot in college.
Yep. Time
Yeah, I
Splitters,
think
that was a fun game.
Onimusha was one of mine. So like, I would love to see Onimusha come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But so this week's question of the week. Now, I was inspired by this from this past weekend. What movie do you still love that aged horribly?
Oh, that's a good one.
Love that. I love those initial reactions.
The aged.
That aged horribly.
I'm gonna say Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. With
With Kevin Costner?
yeah,
Really?
and Alan Rickman. I used to love that movie when I was a kid. Then when I watched it, when I was in college, I'm like, oh my god.
But do you still like it?
What was I thinking? I still like it, but in a much different context. Like I know this is bad. Like I know it's like, watching Aladdin except less fun, but I still enjoy it and I don't know why.
I would have to, sad to say, The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler.
I love The Wedding Singer.
I can't watch it. I just get frustrated and angry, and then I just try to force myself to go to sleep.
But I'm saying, do you still like it?
It
It has to be a movie that aged horribly that you still
horribly.
like.
I still like. I don't know, Vic. Help me out.
Spawn.
Yeah, I'll take it. Sure.
I still enjoy Spawn, but I would say the first Ghostbusters.
Wait, Ghostbusters.
What?
Ghostbusters.
Looking at the special effects, I was like, wow, this aged awful, but this is still so good.
You do not know what you speak of.
I love the movie.
I'm
still love the movie.
I'm
but
hearing
it's just
words.
like, wow, I was like,
Just
this
word,
could. I was like,
just word
I
salad at
don't
this
think
point.
I don't think it aged that well.
You can say that about Ghostbusters 2, but Ghostbusters 1 is a classic. It did not age.
I still say I
poorly.
still enjoyed it.
It didn't age poorly though.
I thought,
Oh wait, well, all right. Yeah, I have
help me
to.
out here.
Yeah, I agree. It's the effects are fine. The
Yeah.
acting's great.
no,
Fun
the
story.
acting's amazing. It's the effects that got me.
The visual effects are still quite up to par.
I wouldn't say it. I will put those. Okay,
Like,
okay.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna
You
change my answer. I'm just gonna go for Batman, 1989. I don't think it's aged too well,
I'll agree with you there.
and it's still fun, but
I say okay. Then I'll change my answer. The first Mortal Kombat.
Oh yes,
Okay.
that is a horrible
I can
guilty
still
pleasure.
watch that movie and just be
Yeah.
like, this did not age well. Like these effects are
The second one's
horrible.
even worse.
Dude,
It is.
Reptile
Oh.
literally, I literally
Yeah.
thought that I colored Reptile into the film before he turned into human form.
Oh yeah. Too bad you will die. God, Annihilation was horrendous.
Oh my goodness.
Man. But all right, you saved yourself on that
Okay.
answer. Okay. But yes, once again, John, thank you so much for guesting on our show.
This is a
Thanks so
long
much.
time coming.
Yeah,
Yes.
love being here.
And thank you to all the listeners and viewers on Facebook Live. And you can also check out all of our episodes on SoundCloud, YouTube, Google Play, and iTunes. Leave us a 5-star review. And you can also follow us all over social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yep, so that question of the week will be on the social medias within a day or two.
Yeah,
Hopefully I can remember and actually do it and won't be so late.
indeed. But yes, thank you all for watching and listening. And as always, we will catch you on the flip. Peace out, nerds.
Later.